Episode 2. Is it possible to live without pain? When I look back to that time in my life, I realize that everything began with a very simple question. Is it possible to live without being in pain? When the body is in pain, there is almost nothing we can do. It becomes hard to enjoy food, hard to travel, hard to study, and even hard to meet and spend time with other people. That made me wonder, is physical health not the most basic condition of a human life? So the question slowly changed into another one: how can we live without pain, or at least live in good health? In Buddhism, Gautama Buddha taught that human life itself is inseparable from suffering. Birth, aging, illness, and death, these are things no one can escape. Because of that, we are told to let go of our attachments. I don't think that idea is wrong, but at the same time, another thought stayed with me. I was born with a body, and if I must live with this body, then I want to suffer less, and live as comfortably as I can. So I asked myself again, if I don't want to be sick, what should I do first? The first answer that came to my mind was simple: maybe illness should be prevented, before it begins. But then another question followed: why do people become sick? Sometimes we get infected by virus. Sometimes we are born with illness, and sometimes, sickness simply comes as we live our lives. We cannot remove every cause. Still, the question remained. Even so, is there a way to reduce the risk of illness, at least a little? That was when I thought about the body's immunity, so I returned to the basics: eating nourishing food, moving the body, sleeping well, taking care of the mind. These things may not prevent illness completely, but they can reduce the risks and help us protect ourselves. Yet there was another problem: living this way is not easy. We are easily tempted: instant food, fatty, rich food, alcohol and smoking. So I reached a conclusion: before trying to add more good habits, we should first stop the harmful ones. If our daily life becomes even slightly more balanced, maybe we can build at least one layer of protection against disease. Of course, as we age, illness related to aging is unavoidable, but perhaps, at least when we are young, we can prevent unnecessary suffering that comes without reason. That was the conclusion I reached at that time. Even now, I try to avoid things that feel harmful to my body, alcohol included, but as time passed, I realized there was something even more fundamental. Why do we choose harmful things, even when we know better? That was when I understood, the real problem was not food or habits, but the way we think, before making a choice. At that moment, I felt as if I had discovered something precious. Reason. It felt like finding a hidden treasure. Taking care of the body is ultimately a question of how we think, how we choose, and how we live. And it was through the body that I first found myself standing at the doorway of philosophy. Would you like to continue this philosophical journey with me?